Good afternoon, everyone. It is our pleasure to welcome you all this afternoon for the launch of our latest smartphone, ASUS 6Z. To kick off the program, let us welcome ASUS Global Chairman Johnny Shi on the stage.
Namaste, India. Thank you for always being such an amazing crowd and incredible customers. I'm extremely excited to be back here with all of you as we treat India just like our home market. We are also extremely grateful of your love and support for ASUS. Your recognition has made us the number 4 largest online smartphone brand in India. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And the fastest growing consumer notebook brand in India. Thank you, India. Thank you. We will continue to invest and grow in this market and bring the best innovations to this incredible land. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our strategic partner, Flipkart. Thank you for your dedication and support. Thank you. Thank you. Flipkart and ASUS share a passion for technology. What is even more precious is that we share a persistence for making a real impact in consumers' lives. But how do we identify those key attributes that really make a difference? At ASUS, we have internalized the practice of design thinking for the last decade and made it a common language throughout the whole company. Every design and innovation must start with people's desirability. Then, through the various approaches of simulation, experiments, and prototyping, we achieve the most optimal design that is both technically feasible and financially viable. Finding that perfect balance between function and emotion is the ASUS way of design thinking. And this time, our mission is to create the ultimate empowering luxury. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present the ASUS 6Z. Thank you. It is an emblem to honor our hardcore enthusiast fan base and a tribute to our relentless engineering origin. It's designed for you. Thank you. A few weeks ago, we launched this incredible phone in Valencia. It immediately took the internet by storms with remarkable recognitions and praises out of this world. Let's hear what they have to say.
Here's a smartphone you didn't see coming, and it's one of the only phones where I actually got more and more excited the longer I spent with it. A phone that manages to tick pretty much all the pillars of a good 2019 flagship.
I really like this phone. They've done a fantastic job on this device. I didn't expect it. I think the world did not expect them to make something this good. This phone, I think, will be wildly popular. Everything about this phone feels right for $500.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm extremely proud of what we have achieved. Without further delay, let me invite Sean to stage and take us on a journey to defy the ordinary. Sean?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm very glad to be here to launch our flagship ASUS 6Z. After the launch of 5Z, we have conducted a very extensive research in India and taken extensive feedback from Indian tech experts, our fans, and Indian power users. Through this research, we understand a lot of pain points, and we like to solve it on the new 2019 flagship. We are super glad that several Indian tech experts have already endorsed ASUS 6Z as a near-perfect flagship. We took this as a great honor. What have we learned from these researches? Flagship owners want to kill the fat bezels, the notches, and the punch holes. They want to have a full view watching experience with high screen-to-body ratio smartphone. Battery remains a key anxiety. Does it make sense you buy a very expensive smartphone and then carry a heavy power bank or even a large, heavy, fast charger to stop worrying about your battery running out? 90% of the flagship owner has expressed anxiety about their battery and through our Indian research. Smooth and faster UI experience. Through the research, we have realized that consumers want a right balance between the stock Android experience and essential customization without any bloatware. Camera remains a key feature where users are expecting more every day. Already, the limit of the rear camera system has been pushed a lot. However, in India, the front camera usage is even higher. So the question is, how can we manage a great front camera experience at the same time eliminating the bezel and the notch? We took this as a challenge while developing the 6Z. Also, we have a customized selfie camera tuning for Indian consumers. Lots of so-called flagships removed lots of essential features, such as 3.5mm audio jack, the triple slot SIM tray, notification LED, FM radio, in-box high-resolution headsets, CAN2 API, and the Wi-Fi L1 support. A lot of power users through our research, tell us they want this back strongly. We designed ASUS 6Z to solve this critical point that only ASUS can, in the way that defines ordinary. For further product information, I would like to hand off to Dinesh, and I believe you will all love our new ASUS 6Z. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone present out here, as well as those watching us on live stream. On behalf of ASUS India, I'd like to really thank you. So first of all, I would like to really appreciate Johnny, Sean, Eric, all our senior HQ team members to come here and show their strong commitment to the Indian market and give us full support. Last year, we launched the 5Z in India on Flipkart, and I'm very happy to confirm that with a very large number of customers who've actually bought this phone and experienced it, they've given it a very high rating of 4.5. So that's the kind of rating that 5Z has actually been able to generate. And let me tell you, before we start the presentation about 6Z in detail, 6Z in every which way is an innovation and a product which actually betters upon the previous generation phone. So it's not just like giving you an old wine, or let's say a new wine in the old bottle, but it's really something which is truly, truly innovative and a true upgrade in every sense, in every single spec. So let's start with the first thing, the display itself. As Sean mentioned, okay, last 1 year has been a real revolution. I mean, like, the display underwent a lot of changes in 2018. We started with the 18:9 aspect ratio display, then we had the notch, then we had the drop notch. Drop notches changed their shapes, sizes, we went to punch holes. And now finally what the consumer wants is a real seamless, full view display experience. And to give this display experience, 6Z comes with an all-screen display with absolutely no notch, no punch hole. The display itself is brilliant. It's a 6.4-inch display, Full HD Plus, with 92% screen-to-body ratio, 100% DCI-P3 color gamut. So you can actually see really good colors on this phone. And the color reproduction on this display is really good as compared to other competitors. Plus, it comes with a very high 600 nits brightness, which means that when you're actually watching this display, even in bright sunlight conditions, you can easily view the content. Plus, in a partnership with Corning, we are giving the most durable smart screen protection in the industry. Even now, there are flagships which are offering Corning Gorilla Glass 5, but here we packed in the Corning Gorilla Glass 6 protection, which is scratch resistant, and as compared to the previous generation Gorilla Glass 5, it's got 2x higher drop protection. Battery was one of the big key points or the pain points that flagship customers experience. You buy a very expensive phone, and then with that expensive phone, you also have to worry about buying a power bank or carry a very heavy charger along with you, and still having the anxiety that your battery would actually run off. So in 6Z, we pack in for the first time in the world in a flagship, a super powerful, high capacity, 5000 mAh battery. And along with this 5000 mAh battery, we also support quick charge 4.0 functionality with USB Type-C fast charging. So you've got best of the both worlds, where you've got a very high capacity battery, plus you've got fast charging. And this can also, by the way, having such large capacity, support reverse charging function up to 10 watts with USB Type-C to Type-C connectivity. Plus, the advantage of using quick charge is that you can actually have compatibility with power banks which support quick charge. So by any chance, if you want to charge your phone, in the worst case scenario, since this phone won't need charging, but in the worst case scenario, you still need to charge it with the power bank, it will support fast charging on the power bank. This is a great advantage compared to, let's say, proprietary solutions which are not compatible and do not charge fast on power banks or third-party charger. Plus, with the 5000 mAh battery and the 7 nanometer processor which is there in this, which we'll talk about it later, it gives you an amazing battery capacity, and it easily lasts for 2 days. You get up to 26 days 4G standby, 33.3 hours of talk time, and 21 hours of Wi-Fi web browsing. What I want to actually share with you is something which went behind the scene in terms of actually deciding why do we choose this kind of a battery and why did we choose the kind of charging solution that we've chosen. So a quick perspective into how smartphone batteries are actually worked upon and decided. So when you actually want to work upon a battery, you look at endurance as one of the key parameters, and it's one of our key considerations at ASUS. You obviously need high capacity battery for endurance. You want the battery to last really long. Then you want convenience, you want quick charge, wireless charge, these kind of functions. And then the design matters because you want to accommodate a high capacity or the highest possible capacity of battery in a slim form factor. We don't want your phone to become a bulky, big power bank. So there are these considerations, which are involved. Now let's understand what are the trade-offs. When you want to do fast charging on a battery, okay, ultimately battery is simple. It's got a positive anode and a negative cathode. When you want to do fast charging, the electrons exchange very fast. And to maintain battery safety, you need a thick separator between anode and cathode. So faster the charging requirement, you need thicker separator, which means your size of the battery would go on increasing with higher capacity and a thicker separator. If you have lower wattage charging, then obviously the separator is thinner. So that's one key consideration. You have a trade-off between capacity and charging in terms of then the size of the battery because of the separator thickness. The second important aspect that we realized, and with extensive testing we can say that we've been giving very, very good battery capacities, is that actually when we compared a 5000 mAh battery, which we want to use on 6Z, with the 18 watt fast charging solution versus a 3300 mAh battery for competitor with 27 watt fast charging solution, there were some amazing results that we found. One, the battery swelling rate differs significantly. So a 5000 mAh battery degrades by, let's say, 10% over a period of 2 years. So what happens is that you still have, at the end of 2 years, on 6Z, 4550 mAh worth of actual capacity available for utilization. So even after 2 years, the smartphone is actually outlasting other smartphones which are available in its price range with a capacity which is larger than them. The second interesting aspect is when you look at a 3300 mAh battery with a 27 watt charging, it degrades actually by 14%. That means at the end of 2 years or up to 2 years, your battery is less than 3000 mAh in terms of actual available capacity. So you are actually now running out of your battery, you're needing more and more power banks, more and more bigger chargers, finding charging points because of this kind of a combination. The other interesting aspect, so you would say, okay, why not? Fast charge has one important advantage, it will actually charge faster. But what we found out as an interesting aspect, and this is physics of battery, because a battery charges initially at a faster rate and then at a slower rate, right? So the interesting physics of battery actually pointed out one very interesting fact, that a 3300 mAh battery with 27 watt charger still charges in about 1 hour. But the 5000 mAh battery also charges 3300 mAh, which is a day's charge, also in 1 hour. So you're not really missing out on the speed advantage when you actually look at capacity which is available to you for usage on this particular solution. Plus, it also improves your battery lifespan by 1.5 times. So when it comes to battery choice on 6Z, we considered multiple options. We considered a 4000 mAh battery with 40 watts. Then we considered a 5000 mAh battery with a bigger charger. Now that would have actually increased the battery capacity, battery size by 10%, and it would have made 6Z very bulky to give you this particular solution. Therefore, for 6Z, we've actually taken an optimal solution of 5000 mAh with an 18 watt quick charge 4.0 charger, which comes in the box, so that you get best of both the worlds fast charging as well as very high capacity battery, plus a battery that lasts really long. So with 6Z, you just charge it, forget it. Between your two charging cycles, you would never need any other thing like a power bank or a charger. In my own usage experience, every day, and despite heavy usage, typically late at night when I go to bed and I put the phone on charging again, I've got 30 to 40% charge available even with my very, very heavy, severe usage. So now, this was about the display and the battery. To talk about the most important aspect about the phone, which is essentially performance, which has two aspects. One is the processor, second is the UI. Firstly, it's my great pleasure and honor to invite Mr. Rajen Wagadia, VP and President Qualcomm India and SAARC, to take you through the most amazing, fastest processor that we use in this phone. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here. This platform, I remember the 5Z launch and now the 6Z launch. Very exciting times. We've seen how 5G performed, and I think that gives an additional sense of pride to be here on the stage. ASUS, a great partner, brings this amazing products which are built primarily on something we as Qualcomm pride on as the best processors we build. If you see over the last few years, and this is a personal experience, probably I'm narrating something which we all somehow recognize, but probably we might not have thought of it. The smartphone essentially has morphed into a device which is just beyond a function and a feature sort of a device. It's now a experience device, and I remember very vividly a conversation I had with Rajiv Makni a few months back. We're talking about when will the phone move to an experience? Like subtly, without recognizing, we have seen that the phone now talks about experience, most of it, right? Rather just than talking about what it's going to deliver as a X or a Y function or a feature. We live two worlds. We all live two worlds. One world, which we actually see outside. And the second world, which is basically the more alluring world, the world which we live through the phone. And I would say none of us probably in this room or probably outside would deny this fact that we virtually have our life going through the phone now. Be it an instance of a picture, how many times have we all run to scramble and get hold of our phone when we see something beautiful? Even before we decide to look at that picture with our eyes, we also want to trap it on a camera, right? And this is my personal experience, probably I would assume that most of us have the same thing, that when you take this picture, another thing we do is share it. And when you share it, there are a few reasons why we do is basically the smartphone has become a sense that gives us instant gratification. When you see a beautiful picture, when the phone responds to you fast, you are gratified. When you share the picture, you feel gratified that I've shared it with my family who could not be a part of it, or my friends who were not a part of it, or I want to brag about it. And then when somebody likes it, you get gratified again. So I think this instrument is the smartphone is giving a sense of gratification, which moves to the fundamental point that when you want to be gratified, you want that experience. The experience which it delivers has to be uber. You will not want to sacrifice. Now, one thing which I probably I'm a little bit confused at times. Does innovation-driven companies like Qualcomm and ASUS, do they drive the consumer to change, or does the consumer drive us to change and bring new innovations? Somewhere I think there's an amalgamation of both, and when it happens, what is happening is it's now becoming a cycle which is going into that the consumer expects more, we give more. We give more, consumer expects more. So we are in that phase where we are into a race where we are going to see, as these devices, and when you see the Snapdragon 855, the best of the processor that exists on earth today. And 6Z boasts about that. In multiple aspects. There are tons of specs which we can go through, but what it ultimately stands for is it delivers an experience and strives to deliver a customer experience which is unique, which is unparalleled, and which challenges the consumer to come and say, okay, go ahead, ask me for more, right? And we go back again and bring something which is far better. Here today, you have the best product. 6G boasts about the best processor, Snapdragon 855, which is the top of the line, not just at Qualcomm, but I would confidently say across the globe. And doing justice to the engineers who build it, sometimes probably it's difficult to fathom, but I would try to explain what has changed. And there's a specific reason I'm trying to explain why 855 is different. This probably some of us would already know that. A few years back, it started with a synchronous symmetric structure or architecture of cores. There were 4 cores. Each core had a clock speed, and the design of the processor was such that each clock was allowed to run depending on what loads or workloads or function it was performing at different speeds. We moved on, and then came this big little. This was another structure of a core, where what happened is instead of 4, now we have 8. And you have 4 big cores and then you have 4 small cores. This is like synonymous to a car, where you have a big engine and you have a small engine. The big engine is meant for your off-roading or heavy, tough situation where you're driving, and probably the small core was trying to help you get better mileage. This is all boiling down to 2 things: power, performance. The more you talk about power, you sacrifice performance, and we don't let that happen. So this is where the next structure came in. You had 4 big cores doing tough work, 4 small cores doing other assignments, which are primarily giving you the efficiency which is required. Because you look where we headed to. We have 5000 mAh batteries. Actually, unknowingly, we have started consuming so much power. The screens are becoming bigger. We are doing far more different type of activities. We are gaming on the phone, which are massive. These things are, actually, the today's smartphone is more than the supercomputer 40 years back in terms of complexity. So while we don't understand it, and basically sometimes we don't appreciate it, that's the complexity of the device. And here comes the fundamental shift we have done in 855 over the previous generation. This is our 4th generation Cryo 485. What now we have done is, of the big cores, 1 core becomes a prime core. Now that clocks at a different speed, which is 2.84 gigahertz. This is the first time this is coming up. Now, in layman's language, what does it deliver? What it does deliver is, it's a massive leap, and let me stress this: massive. Probably last time I wouldn't have said massive. Maybe this time I'm saying massive, because I really mean it. It's massive. 45% improvement of the CPU, and 20% improvement on our GPU. Now, when you have a 40% improvement in the CPU, what it delivers you is the app loading is very quick, right? The web browsing is very quick. Now, the patience, if you see, most of us are so impatient. Like if you're trying to open an app and if it takes more than few microseconds, we are not happy. So we are trying to solve all those problems where our impatience or our tolerance to that sort of immediately felt. Now there are so many things that still happen in the background where you actually will probably sometimes, you will not recognize the benefits of 45% better power performance, because unless I take it away. If I take it away, you will see it. So these are things which probably are inherently brought into a product like 6G. When it delivers that experience to you, it is 45% faster and 20% GPU. Sorry. Another aspect which I would like to touch upon is the AI. A topic which I've constantly, continuously, and I will definitely try to address this because in every time I get a chance to talk to people, this is something which is always very complex to understand. And honestly, I would agree, it is complex. It's not something you can actually experience. And hence, when you can't experience, you typically feel that, oh, is there anything that God went behind it? But here, we are using our 4th generation AI engine. Now, this AI engine basically helps, and we have a heterogeneous architecture. So now what happens is GPU, CPU, and the DSP are architected in a way that the experience that you get in some of the applications which are heavily using AI, those experiences like facial recognition, if it is there, or object recognition, these become super, super quick with far better accuracy. And finally, something which probably we as Qualcomm are always proud of is our GPU. 640 Adreno. Graphics, this is one of the best things that's happening on earth, right, in terms of the innovation. A lot of us probably in the room are gaming experts. In the morning today while coming here, I was reading an article, actually a full page, two-page article in Mint, which talks only about gaming and how India is changing on gaming. Now, gaming is one aspect, but a very good graphics GPU, right, with a 20% faster performance. This is over our past. When we talk about, I'm comparing all over the previous generation, that is 845. We have a 20% fast GPU. And what it typically renders is, in terms of the consumer, now we are talking about supporting 1 billion colors. Now, I don't think none of us can count colors like that. But just to give you a perspective of where it went, from where it went to here, you're talking about 16 million colors to 1 billion colors. That's the difference. So now when you see the big screens and the images, they are a lot better. The rendering is a lot better. Another two aspects, a little bit associated with gaming, Vulkan 1.1 graphics library. Now we have moved that library close to a little bit, like it's closer to the hardware. What happens is when you run games with this device, it is going to be at the same performance, you're going to save 20% battery. This is something which is very important when you game, because you don't want to lose, because gamers are not going to stop after half an hour. They'll continue gaming, and you don't want your battery to get drained faster. So this is one of the key things that's changing in this world. As we in India start gaming more, these are those aspects which we have to take care of. Another one is physically based rendering. This is actually an aspect which is going to be seen more often now. We bring it for the first time here. This PBR is nothing but in different light shades, you will be able to see the image. So this brings an image, and probably you will have to experience when you play a game on a 6Z, you will be able to see, you will experience that the image has got more effects of light. So even an animated object has shadows or more it's more lifelike. It almost looks like it's there in physical, it's there in front of you. This basically brings me to the end that the 6Z boasts about some of these firsts, and I would say by far this is one of the biggest leap we have taken. So when we started off our 800 series to this is by far the biggest jump we have ever made in performance between two generations. So 45%, which is the jump, that's by far the biggest. And I can tell you, just lay your hands on that device and you will see what I mean. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajan. And may I please welcome ASUS Head Mobile and Cloud Software, Eric Chen.
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here joining the 6Z India launch event. Today, I want to share with you on the effort we spend to improve the user experience of 6Z. This time, we focus on basic user experiences like simple, fast, and we also add some mindful user experiences. Talking about fast, we're working very hard to optimize the Android framework for the most common use cases. We've optimized tons of use cases, and here I'll give you some examples. Here you can find a comparison among 6Z and other 855 phones. We also add Pixel 3 here because people think Pixel 3 did best. So you can see the comparison of the keyboard pop-up experience, the encore experience, and the photo viewing experience. 6Z runs faster. Now I'll talk about OptiFlex. OptiFlex is a technique developed by ASUS and powered by machine learning. It allows the user to start the app faster by keeping the next to use apps in RAM. So here you can find the typical way people use to compare the performance among different phones. That is running multiple apps for several runs. So here you can see 6Z runs faster ever compared to another A55 phone with more RAM. So now I'll talk about Simple. After we launched 5Z, we've got a lot of feedback from India and India users. We listen and we change. On 6Z, we use the stock Android experience. Now, there are no more two worlds, one ASUS world and one Google world. Now, the look and feel is consistent among all preloaded apps. And we also add the dark mode support, which is not available on Android P yet. Talking about mindful experience, one example is the Smart Key. When you get the device, you will notice that we've added a physical button on the side. We call it Smart Key. The default behaviors of Smart Key are waking up Google Assistant, show personal update, and use Google Assistant in walkie-talkie way. The major difference of the walkie-talkie way is when you release the Smart Key, the Google Assistant would respond to your command immediately without waiting for a timeout. Of course, we provide the customization options for users. What we provide is the most commonly used functions, such as do not disturb, audio mode, auto rotate, etc. So here I'll talk about some mindful experiences we added for India users. Call recording, which the user wants the most, but cannot be supported by third-party apps on Android P. Twin apps, which allow the user to use different accounts in the same app like Facebook. Outdoor mode, which we provide to adapt to the ambient noise environment in India. Mobile Manager, which allow the user to fully control the behaviors of third-party apps. FM radio, which we think is pretty useful for music listeners on public transport in India. App Lock, which allows the user to unlock an app with fingerprint or face, and that's a lot more, just waiting for you to experience. So as you may know, ASUS has joined Android Q beta program. This means 6Z will be one of the first wave devices to upgrade to Android Q. And here we also promise we'll upgrade 6Z to Android R once it's available. So now I'll hand it off to Dinesh on camera.
Thank you very much, Eric, for actually listening to us and actually making so many changes on 6Z, which will make the lives of Indian consumers really delightful, and giving whatever the consumers asked for, and for putting in so much effort to make it what it is. Really appreciate that. So friends, let's talk about now one of the most impactful innovations in 6Z. It is truly the most phenomenal flagship innovation in the camera. So let's talk about the most important feature of 6Z, which is the flip camera. Flip camera is a very, very interesting innovation that we've come up with to actually ensure that you get a full view viewing experience without any notch, without any punch hole. And at the same time, it adds many new meaningful functionalities to the camera that you've hitherto not experienced on any other smartphone or maybe even any other DSLR. So this is a true camera innovation in the world, and it really generates amazing new functionalities, which I'm going to take you through. So let's talk a bit about the specs of the camera. So the main sensor on the camera is actually a 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor. And the advantage of this sensor is that it's got amazing low light capability at one end because of quad layer technology, and on the other end, it can actually take very high resolution pictures. But what is the most amazing part of this innovation that we've done is that you get this 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor both in the rear and in the front. So you can actually take your selfies, VFs on a 48 megapixel sensor for the first time in a flagship in the world. The secondary camera in this is a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. And this again is based on your feedback on 5Z. We got this feedback that you've got a really wide angle, but we want more resolution. So in 6Z, we've upgraded the 8 megapixel camera ultra wide to a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. Plus the main sensor has a very wide 1.79 aperture, again enabling really good low light photography. And with the quad layer technology on IMX586, at 12 MP resolution, you've got a pixel size which is one of the best in class at 1.6 micrometer. Plus, these are some other additions that we've done. We've added laser autofocus for really fast autofocus, and we've also added a dual LED flash. While in the rear, some of these features might be available in other smartphones. But what is most interesting is the fact that with the flip camera, you've got IMX586 sensor, you've got the secondary 13 megapixel wide angle sensor, plus dual LED flash and laser autofocus available for your front camera experience as well. Plus, this is one of the big requests, of our Indian fans, that they want Cam2 API to be open. So as already confirmed earlier as well, we opened the Cam2 API on 6Z for you to enable you to actually download third-party camera applications and use in this phone as well. So let's understand a bit more about the most important aspect now, which is the flip camera. So we've created a flip camera which allows you to actually control the movement of the camera. And you can do it in two ways. You can actually use the volume slider to actually control the movement of the camera up and down up to 180 degrees. Or you have a soft key, okay, which you can actually use in the camera UI for free angle control. And the best part is you can use this free angle control both while taking pictures as well as shooting videos. You can even shoot a slow-mo video with this free angle control. So this gives you amazing new dimension and convenience to use the camera. It makes taking impossible angles possible and adds a huge host of convenience to your camera usage experience. So let's say if you've got to take a picture of a child from the top, you will typically hold the camera and then take the picture like this, and you might get these kind of pictures. But with a free angle camera, you can actually go down, tilt it to 90 degrees and take a shot like this. You don't need to bend down any further. Plus, the other important aspect is that we've built this functionality to work in any other third-party camera app as well. What you would get is a soft key where you can actually control the slider. So let's say, for example, if you were to go into your Instagram app and take photos from there, you still have the functionality of the flip camera available to you to choose any angle that you want and take the picture. The other interesting aspect is panorama photos. A lot of us actually do not take panorama photos that much because we find it very difficult. You've got to hold the phone, you've got to keep steady, you've got to turn around, and then at the end of the day capture the scene that you are in. And the most amazing part is while you capture the scene, while taking a panorama shot, you cannot get yourself into the picture ever. In 6Z, we've actually used the motorized camera to give you an auto panorama function for both horizontal and vertical pictures. And the best part is because this moves 180 degrees, it comes to the front, you can feature yourself in that beautiful scene that you're present in. Plus, next time around when you're standing in front of the tall building and you want to take a picture with that tall structure, you don't need somebody to bend down, look upwards and take your picture, but you can simply use the vertical panorama, auto vertical panorama in this to take that beautiful picture of yours with the tall building very, very conveniently. So it adds really new meaningful dimensions to photography, which were not there before. We've also added this amazing function, which especially our friends who are tech experts would really appreciate because they do a lot of vlogs. So next time around when you want to do your vlog, you can use the motion tracking function of the flip camera, which means that you just keep your phone stationary and you move around. The flip camera angle will actually track you, keep you in the center of the frame and record the video. And you can do that up to 4K 60 FPS. So let's look at how does this functionality really work. What is in this amazing mechanism that we built in which enables these kind of new functions, and what is it really made of? So first of all, just this module of the flip camera has a 2-meter diameter hinge from where we've got 17 power cables which come in and 32 signal cables which come in a very thin space. Apart from that, inside the flip camera itself, you've got gravitational sensor, gyro sensor, Hall sensor, you've got the 2 camera sensors, you've got laser autofocus, dual LED flash, and also you've got a built-in additional speaker, which is a 5-magnet speaker to act as a stereo speaker in the phone. And therefore, to ensure durability, the entire module is made out of a material called liquid metal. Liquid metal is a lightweight alloy. It is 20% lighter than steel, but in terms of toughness and hardness, it is actually 4 times stronger. So you're using a material which thereto, in this kind of form factor on the external of the phone, has never been used. This is the largest single part on any smartphone which is made out of liquid metal, which makes it really, really tough and solid. Plus the motor itself. Okay, so we've actually created a customized stepper motor. And this customized stepper motor allows the camera to stop at every 2 degrees. So in its entire 180-degree rotation, you can actually stop the camera at every 2 degrees to get that precise angle for your favorite shot. So a typical generic solution on a stepper motor will have a 18-degree stop on the stepper motor. But 6Z stepper motor has a 2-degree stop. And to enable this, we've used a gearbox, which is again customized with 13 gears that add 2x torque as compared to a motor which is used in a normal pop-up camera. And it has 1:120 reduction ratio. So that is the kind of engineering which we've actually put into this. And to keep the motion smooth, the flip actually starts at a slower speed of 400 pulses per second. Then the camera accelerates to 2400 pulses per second, the flip module, and then it comes to 400 pulses per second to give it a very elegant motion when you actually use it. Now let's talk about durability, flip camera. There might be some questions in your head. Let's address them. So first of all, we've done extensive testing of the flip camera. There are safety mechanisms which have been built into it. So if the camera, if you were to take the selfie and drop the phone, the camera would actually immediately retract, and before your phone falls down, the camera would be actually moving inside to ensure that it doesn't get damaged. And with inputs from our friend from Flipkart, Aditya, we've also ensured that if you drop it in the other way around, the camera still retracts and it still closes. So we've been listening and we take some great inputs from Flipkart as well to ensure that we modify our products to even work better. Still, any doubts about durability? Then Let me tell you, we've tested this flip extensively for more than 100,000 times. So even if you take 70 selfies a day with the flip camera for 2 years, okay, we've already tested it out, and it can hold that kind of rigor. And to ensure that all this module, which is, the camera plus the battery, etc., fit into 6Z perfectly, we being the largest motherboard manufacturing company in the world have used that expertise to create a 2-layer PCB, which sits on top of each other, gives a surface area which is larger than other flagships, yet, fits in a very, very compact size. That enables a great compact design. And we've also got the HDR enhanced mode, okay, which actually enables to take 16 shots together and then club it together to make it a beautiful HDR photo. So typically till now we were only using the HDR mode, but now we've got the HDR enhanced functionality. We've also got the HDR enhanced also reduces ghosting and avoids overexposure. We've also got super night mode. In super night mode, you can actually take fantastic pictures of low light and artificial lighting conditions. So you can see the shot, how it looks, before using the super night mode. And after using the super night mode, the clarity of the shot, the lighting, etc., enhances tremendously. The 13MP ultra-wide camera has a 125-degree ultra-wide angle, and it's got 200% wider view as compared to a normal camera FOV. Plus, what we've done is, in this time, we've also added real-time distortion correction. So the barrel distortion which happens in a wide-angle camera is taken care of in 6Z. Plus, to give you the best-in-class selfie experience, as I've already explained, we've got the same rear cameras coming in the front. What you get is 6Z has actually got the highest DxO mark in the world for the selfie camera with a 98 DxO mark. So you can see the comparison out here with other top-end flagship phones. ASUS 6Z is actually top of the line. Also, the selfie experience, because of the rear cameras coming in the front, bring in all the key capabilities of the rear camera. So you've got the Pro mode support, you've got the portrait mode support, you've got auto panorama also available on the front camera, you've got night mode and HDR enhanced mode, all of these built in into the front camera as well. And for videos, you've got the best-in-class support within the segment of free angle videos, because you can also use the rotating camera up to 4K 60 FPS with EIS, and also for the front. So in the front camera as well, you can actually have 4K 60 FPS videos with EIS. And in the slow-mo, you can also use the free angle camera and shoot videos up to 480 FPS with EIS. And it also allows you to take time lapses up to 4K video recording. Well, I've spoken a lot about technology out here and what the camera brings in terms of technology. But the proof of actually technology and actually its application. And to show that application of this camera, it's my pleasure to actually get one of the best mobile filmmakers in India, Rahul Datta, who will come and show you how he used the 6Z across India extensively to shoot some amazing pictures and videos.
I am deeply intrigued with the world that we live in today. I truly feel that we're living in the most exciting times to watch the world unfold. In a sense, the technology that we use should allow us to be more human, which means we should be able to experience more and have an improved assessment of things around us and life in general. A picture or a photograph speaks 1,000 words. I truly feel we are recording a visual narrative of our lives through through the images and the videos we take every day. And I think we should make the narrative count and make it as unique as the individuals we are. It's fascinating. The word record actually comes from joining two Latin words, re and cor. Re means to send back and cor means the heart. So to record literally translates into sending back to the heart, to the center of our being where all human emotions come from. I think the ASUS 6Z has bridged that gap for everyone, where you do not need to be a professional photographer or filmmaker to capture great images and have a new perspective on the go. I love the fact that the phone has an amazing battery, and it gives me the sense of freedom, which allows me to spend more time outside. But mostly I'm in love with the fact that I always end up looking at things in a new light, in a new perspective, and I think it in a way allows me to be a better observer of life.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before I start, there are two things I have to talk about. One is how I experience technology, and second, my experience with working with ASUS. So I use technology on a very basic operator level. I want to pull out something from a box, and that device should be able to translate whatever I have in my head into actual images and pictures. And secondly, this was the first time I was working with ASUS, and I feel that when like an organization has values like individuals, which is of empathy, of understanding the end user, I think that's when the technology becomes an experience for the end user, which is beautiful, for lack of words. And that's something which I experienced, and I absolutely enjoyed it. So we'll start with a few images that I want to share with you. The most amazing part about the camera, the phone, which everyone's spoken of before me, is the flip camera, the perspective that you can get. Now, I am a professional filmmaker and photographer, and I understand that I go the length to click an image by bending low or getting a new perspective. But the fact that I could get these images, it made it so effortless, where I didn't have to go out of my comfort zone. I could be just standing straight. If I'm looking into the sun, if I want that image, I don't have to look into the sun to click that image. I could just be standing there with ease looking at my phone and capture these perspectives. I personally was never a fan of panorama pictures till I got this phone. The amount of detail that can be captured from all perspectives allows you to have images that are this beautiful. Now, when we talk about technology and empathy and experience, I want to talk about why these pictures are amazing. And these pictures are amazing because I did not have to worry about the battery running out. I was able to stand there, wait for the light to come, and experience clicking these images and having no burden of batteries, chargers, or worry of the battery running out, and being there and being in the moment and capturing these images. I would like to point out also that there have been no images like these online if you go. To get these images, you have to be there with a desire to not just capture it, but experience it. The landscape changes every 5 minutes. And to be right there, to be capturing these images with this technology, I think allows you to have an experience which is far beyond just having a camera, phone in your hand. Also, as you can see, the detail that comes across in the panorama pictures are amazing. I'm a big fan of the panoramas just because I have this phone and I got to use it. The selfie panorama, again, I'm not a big selfie person, but it's amazing. And I feel that these images are almost videos. They make your eye move. It's not a stationary image. You can go from one end to the other and experience the entire landscape of you being there and capturing. I don't think I would be able to capture this image any other way. Now, I like to play an experiment with the device that I get. Now, over here, I would like to point out that this image that was shot at Baudaji Lal Museum in Bombay, this is actually clicked in the portrait mode of the phone and not in the HDR++ or the Pro mode. Like I said, I'm not a techie person. I like to go with instinctively what feels good and looks good. And I always feel the urge to point out that this was clicked on the phone. This was not clicked on a DSLR camera. There was no extra lens or devices that were attached to it. It was purely something that I pulled out of my pocket, and I was able to get these images. And this is at the night mode, and the vibrant colors of Jodhpur and the Mehrangarh Fort just blows my mind that these are out of a camera, which I can carry anywhere and anytime. Now, my most favorite part of the camera is the Pro mode. As a filmmaker, as a creative person, I always want like a new perspective, new colors, and new shades, and for me to push that limit. And that was always available with DSLR cameras till I tried out the Pro mode over here. These images, I kid you not, I feel the urge to say that again and again, were clicked straight out of the phone. They were not edited, they were not put in the software, and these were exactly how they came out of the phone, and I was able to witness this happen, and it was beautiful. It's an experience that you can be standing over here and get this kind of light and get this imagery on the go. I was in Darjeeling, and this is the image that I really want to put out. It was my last day, and I wanted to click a picture at night using the Pro mode with the low shutter speed. And it was a very foggy night, and it was overcast. When I put the phone out there to click this picture, I could not see anything. It was pitch black. But when the image came out, and I could see the homes and the details and the fog, you can see the fog coming into the mountains over there, that just shows the potential it has. And we call it the Pro mode. I would still not call it the Pro mode because it's almost an amateur level base that you can use it on. This is one dial, which is the shutter that you just drag from left to right, and that's it. And the camera does it for you. So, like I said, I'm not a big selfie person, but the front camera and the back camera is the same. So the results are amazing, as you can see. Now, the phone, when you get it and you experience it, there's small nuances which really make the experience immersive. And one of them is the all-screen mode, which is like one of my favorite things about it, to like see an image on the phone from end to end without any black. It's just an experience. I would encourage you to go and try the phones out and see that for yourself. Now, before I end, I would want to share a film, which is which is the third part in the series of 3 films that we made, which is about the lifelines of India. So I travel a lot with the work that I do, and I travel doing different modes of transport and taking trains a bit more often. Now, we made this film in Delhi. It was all shot on the phone, and like I feel the urge to say that again, that it was not color graded or edited, straight out of the camera and put together for you to watch. Can we have the film, please? I really enjoyed the fact that I could be standing with the rest of the commuters in the train and be able to capture such great imagery without even putting my phone up onto my face. I could just be standing and making all these videos like that without causing anybody any interference and capturing such great imagery. Thank you for thank you for listening to me right now, and I'll hand it over to Dinesh. Take it forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahul, for shooting these amazing pictures and videos on a phone and getting the best of India to everybody to show the capability that 6Z brings in terms of camera to the fore. Before we move forward, if there are any further doubters in terms of the durability of camera, we've shot a very interesting internal video, which has been shot by my colleague, Willie. And we would play this video right now. Willie is a very strong guy, and you can see what he does to the camera to kind of sum it up and show you the kind of durable strength that it comes with. Can we have the video, please? So you can see Willie is actually holding the phone with the camera, and he's actually kind of pressure testing it. And he's pressure testing it in any which way you can actually pressure test the camera. Okay? Oh, Willie, that's not good enough. You need to do more. You need to do more. Yes! Let's see whether it works now. Oh, yes, it does. Thank you, Willie. So you can see, the kind of pressure testing that we've been doing for this camera internally, and a lot of tech experts in India, we've actually demonstrated them personally. We've done these kind of pressure tests to show them the kind of durability that liquid metal actually brings to the camera. So let's move on to some other key important features. One of the most important aspects, I think, in any phone is audio. Today, we consume so much content on the go, and we generally consume in India video content, right? And for video content, a great video is not great if it doesn't have complementary great audio. So you need a great audio on the phone in terms of speakers as well as on the headset. And to enable that, we've really put in best of audio technologies. So first of all, the phone comes with dual 5-magnet speakers on both the sides, so you get a true stereo audio experience. Each of these speakers is powered by an individual NXP smart amplifier. So you've got 2 smart amplifiers. You've got 2 noise cancellation microphones, which also take audio at a higher bit rate as compared to competition phones, so you get much better audio capture. You've also got this very critical feature for India, which is FM radio, because when you travel in the trains or buses and then you don't get your 3G, 4G networks working for you, and you want to listen to audio, FM still works. And you've got 3.5 mm jack. We also support high-res audio in this, and the phone is DTS Headphone X certified. What it does, I'll just explain a bit more. The other interesting aspect of this for audiophiles is we actually support all the codecs. You would see this as a very small point, but this nuance is critical because in some of the flagships, or a lot of flagships actually, one or the other critical codec is missing. For example, you can see even aptX TWS, which supports true wireless stereo, is kind of missing in some of the flagships. Plus, in the box, we are actually giving a high quality, high-res audio capable headset. You don't have to buy another headset when you buy the 6Z. You get it out of the box. You can walk working with a very good experience right from day one. And these headsets, the audio tuning has been done by One More. One More is a company which excels in audio tuning, and therefore you will get really good audio experience out of the box when you use the headsets which come along with 6Z. Plus the basics, so you've got face unlock, which is enabled with the flip camera. You've got 0.3 second fingerprint sensor for fingerprint unlock. You've got triple slots, so you can have your 2 SIMs as well as micro SD card all accommodated in the single phone. You don't need to worry about hybrid SIM slots or no expandable memory at all. So you can use the base variant and also expand it in the future as per your choice. It supports dual 4G VoLTE. Plus, in the box, you get this high-end hard transparent hard cover which has been customized for the phone to snap fit it. You get the high-res headset and you get a 18-watt QC 4.0 quick charger. Plus, we've also built in the notification LED in a very, very slim bezel. So our engineers have put in a lot of effort to ensure that this function, which is a multicolor notification LED, is also not missed. And it's been accommodated despite the bezel at the top being extremely thin. Coming to the variants, we've got 3 variants in this phone. So you'll get a 6 GB RAM, 64 GB memory variant. Then we have a 6 GB RAM, 128 GB memory variant. And we've got the top of the line, 8 GB RAM, 256 GB memory variant. So you've got 3 variants out here. The product will be available on Flipkart. And we've got a very deep strategic partnership with Flipkart. When we work with Flipkart, we not only just think about, like just using the distribution capability or the merchandising or the marketing capability of Flipkart, but actually we work with them to see that we make a meaningful difference to the lives of consumers. And when we talk about the flagship segment, when we talk about the high-end consumers, we wanted to give them something which is a worry-free experience, a true worry-free experience. And this worry-free experience is getting enabled by both ASUS and Flipkart working together very, very closely. And this is where we make a true difference in the lives of the Indian consumer by working together. So what we offer with ASUS 6Z is the complete mobile protection package. Complete mobile protection package actually takes care of many other benefits which a standard warranty does not cover. So first of all, you don't need to visit an ASUS service center. If by chance you need your phone to be serviced, all that you need to do is call a single helpline number and your phone will be picked up from your doorstep. Secondly, it provides you protection against any kind of damage that could happen to the phone, whether it be liquid damage or it could be a physical damage. Plus, the program guarantees repair or replacement, and also there's a 10-day period which is promised for you as a maximum limit, for repair and return. So if you were to buy this package on Flipkart, it would cost you 4,000 rupees for this price point kind of phones. But because of this partnership, Flipkart brings in a very special offer on 6Z. And the offer is, you can buy this package only for rupees 99. It is a very, very small token amount that you pay to get this kind of a benefit, okay, and this kind of a partnership benefit. And at the back end, the whole system is integrated between Flipkart and ASUS. So any service or any repairs that happen at the back end actually are done with ASUS's support and by ASUS service centers. So this is an amazing package that comes to you, okay, with 6Z. So before we move forward, let's recap the product with the product film. friends, let's come to the most interesting part of the launch event, which a lot of you wait for, which is actually the price unveil, right? I'm sure you'll be convinced that 6Z is the best flagship smartphone in its class and offers you capabilities which are truly innovative and hitherto not been offered by any other smartphone so far. For our Indian fans, we have India pricing and the ASUS 6Z 6GB RAM, 64GB ROM variant will be available in India on Flipkart for rupees 31,999. And the 6GB RAM, 128GB variant will be available on Flipkart for rupees 34,999. And finally, the top of the line, 8GB RAM, 256GB variant will be available on Flipkart only for rupees 39,999. And finally, the sale for 6Z will commence on Flipkart on 26th of June. So that's about it, friends. Thank you very much for coming here, and that was my part of the presentation. And we move forward to the next part of the event. Thank you.
We would now like to invite on stage ASUS Global Chairman Johnny Shee, ASUS Regional Head India and South Asia Leon Yu, ASUS Senior Director Product Management Sean Chang, and ASUS Head Mobile and Cloud Software Eric Chen. May I also request Flipkart Senior Vice President Mobile, Large Appliances and Too Good Ajay Veer Yadav, Qualcomm India Vice President and President Rajan Bagadia to come on stage to join them for a photo op. Thank you everyone for joining us for the launch of our latest innovation. The demo zone is now open for you to experience the ASUS 6Z. Also, do join us for lunch on the first floor in Regal.